Hey guys, it's Vulcan Wolverine or Kyle. It is Thursday morning. I think it's the 24th. Yeah, because yesterday was the 23rd, where the Pope came to the United States. He was at the White House. So it's the 24th, and I am at racetrack by my house. This is where I come every morning, pretty much, to get an energy drink and food and stuff, snack or breakfast. And so this is the hub. This is the hub where kind of my gang stalkers come. Nobody really, I guess they don't do any street theater on me, but I see a lot of the cars, the moving companies that do caravan me, who are involved in the vehicular stalking, and a lot of the single people who are doing the one light cars and stuff like that. They come to this racetrack because I come to it a lot. I probably need to, go to some different places, but I don't really care. It doesn't really affect me. I see them, but they're not doing anything. What really is affecting me right now is my main stalker in the house. They're pumping it up. They're getting more weaponry in that house, and really going for my chest area, and my head. And yesterday I moved like 2 plates over to the front of his house, and I don't know, a couple hours later it was so bad on my chest. Like, it was just like pressure on my chest where I was like I felt like I was falling asleep. I was like, I couldn't take it. Then I moved a tabletop defender back to the back of his house, because he's at the back window and the front. They put weapons at both sides because I have to move the tabletop defender. So he's using the back of his house and the front of his house. And it's kind of hurting my chest right now. It feels kind of like cold, like a coldness on my chest, a pressure on my chest. So it's kind of hurt me. My throat hurts because they attacked me while I was asleep. And my throat it feels really sore. So I think they went for my throat a lot. There are tons of chemtrails in the sky this morning. I want to show y'all if y'all can see it. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see them because I'm turning the camera. Tons of chemtrails in the sky over our neighborhood, and in just around the city, just around the interstate. You can see them. I hope y'all can see them. There's some that have dissipated and they look like clouds. Those are chemtrails. The chemicals spread out and then come down on us. I don't know what's in it. I don't know. I think there's lots of targeted individuals in the city, probably not just me. And so, I think this is done. There's chemicals to deal with the program of that, and then just regular functions of the chemtrails. But I don't know all about that. But I just want to show them to you, if you can see that, if I'm pointing it in the right direction. I'll check the video and see how well you can see them, but they're all over. They're all over the city. Fresh ones, and then ones that have dissipated and look kind of like clouds, but they're chemtrails that have dissipated. So they spread, whatever they're spraying is coming down on us. It's coming down on everybody in the city. So I think it has a function. It has just a regular function, and it also, I think it has a function for targeted individuals in this program, that it has some kind of chemical that makes the directed energy weapons more effective. It kind of that chemical gets in our body, and then the electromagnetic frequencies then react with that a lot better than if we had a clean body. If we were detoxed, didn't have any toxins in our body. But I just wanted to show that to you. I hope I got them on camera. But I did want to make the video because I've been pretty comfortable for the last half year. But for the last half year, I haven't had any money. my parents have been helping me, so I haven't been able to defend at all. I haven't been able to build up my defenses as he's building up his weaponry, because what he's doing is he gets the weaponry for free. There's other people who are involved in the program, and then he funnels whatever weapons he can into his house and the houses around me. The other house on the other side of me is involved. I don't know how powerful their weaponry is. I think that they actually have remote stuff now, which which I'll have to defend. But like if I take plates away, because it's not like they've gotten more stuff. They're not the neighbor who's organizing it isn't taking part of his arsenal and giving it to them. They've gotten something themselves, with his direction and help. But he's not parsing out his weaponry to them. So I can't move the plates from where I have them on his house and move them over there, because then I'm going to get it from him. I'm going to get more of his directed energy attacks. But what I'm gonna do, I should be getting my Social Security soon. If I don't, I might. I'm trying to write grants. They actually, they're hacked into my computer. They can actually make the mouse move like a remote. When the people remotely take control of your computer. Like if I'm doing something on the computer that they don't like, because they're hacked into that screen. They can slow down everything. They can start making it so the windows open and close, and like I can't do anything, like I can't click anything on the screen. Or they can move the mouse, like they're like, oh, it doesn't matter, he's crazy, and then they'll start moving the mouse and I'll see it. I won't be touching anything and the mouse will move. It will move around. Or I'll have to fight it. I'll have to fight the mouse like to go where I want, because they're playing around with it. So they've got the ability, and I have a antivirus system, but I guess it goes through that. Whatever they have goes around that. I think a lot of these, Windows operating systems, I think a lot of virus protection systems, to set up something like this program, they have back doors in them that these people know how to use. They know how to use, so they can just get in the back door of a lot of even antivirus programs. They have a lot of power, to do whatever they want, to hack into your phone. They're hacked into my phone, which is basically they see these videos, they monitor them. It's a full scale. He's got all this equipment. He's getting people around to get involved, to basically, use me as a test subject, a drill, like a military drill, a test subject. So I'm the target. I'm the target. And in his mind, he's like, we're just neutralizing this target. We're just destroying him. But in reality, he's hurting my family. He's hurting his own family. He's hurting people in the neighborhood. But to him, he's like, we're just going after this one target. It's very, very evil. Very, very evil. I did want to mention, I don't know if I mentioned this on my last video. This is why I question the other side and what they're building up. Lately they've had like tons of people in the Hispanic. It's a Hispanic gentleman's house, and they've had tons of people coming over. So I think they've gotten something that's pretty like a remote station or something, because they have people coming over all the time, and I think they're showing it off. And what makes me really question it is that the other day it was like a Sunday. I'm not sure if it was this Sunday or the last Sunday, but I went into the room on the Hispanic gentleman's side, and I have plugs there. I have the room filled with plugs. I have like 10 plugs in that room. Altera whole house plugs. These things are powerful. I think the plugs are better. They're cheaper and they work better than if you bought a plate. The plates are very good if you know where your attackers are and you can put it by their equipment. It neutralizes and buffers like what they're putting into the remote station. It neutralizes and buffers the ground, what they're doing on the ground. If it's remote from a long way away, I think the plates don't work as well. I'm not really sure about this because I haven't really experimented too much. I'm staying by the people who are targeting me. Um, but on one Sunday, I went into that room with all the plugs, and the room has a switch that if you turn it off, basically none of the plugs work. So if you turn off that switch in the room, not only does the main light go off, but none of the plugs work. So you have to have that switch on to even plug in like a TV or something. And what I did is, and I make sure that I don't switch it off when I go out of that room. I turn off the light with the switch on its own, because it's the light on the gosh, they've been really hurting me. So on the fan, excuse me for that. But I turn the switch off on the fan, and then I don't turn the switch to the room. I accidentally turn it off on a Sunday, and then a couple of hours later, I started feeling like a burning and pulling in my chest, and it didn't buffer out. Like, usually they'll hit me and it becomes weak. It's like a weak frequency. It kind of hurts a little bit, but I accidentally, and I didn't even know this, so I didn't even know I turned the switch. And a couple of hours later, I started feeling a pulling in my chest and like I'd roll over and I'd still feel that pulling, and it was on the Hispanic side that I had done this. So that makes me question whether or not they have remote capabilities over there. They've usually just had ground weapons, where Lynn, my attacker on the other side, my organizer, has had ground weapons and remote capabilities to hit me. They've had so much time. These people have so much time around you. They're not getting caught. They consider this a job. They do it all the time. And nobody believes us, so they have all the time in the world. So I think these guys have had enough time to contact people. Lynn's had enough time to contact people and set them up with remote capabilities. And they've had tons of people come over to their house, like in the last 2 months. And I think they're showing it off. It's really, they've had people, they come and they don't leave for the night. So I on that Sunday, I went to that room not knowing I turned off the switch. I saw the switch that it was turned off, turned it back on, and then a couple hours later, I would say like 4 hours later, that pain in my chest that was remote, because I had been turning over away from their house, I've been turning towards their house, and it was still hitting me. That pain went away. Like, that pain went away. It was neutralized and buffered totally. Lately, I've had little pains in my chest. When I move the plates, when I move them to the front, the pain in the V2K seemed to be worse. So I think Lynn has really built up the back of his house, to hit me with that. And that's my attacker. His name is Lynn, the main guy. He's ex-Army, and I don't know why he's doing this. I don't know the reasons, but he's at the level where he's like, we're gonna kill this guy. I hear it on the V2K. He doesn't talk to me. Basically, what's happening is like his wife is really against this, and she's like, stop it. You're killing him. You're killing him. And basically, what I hear is just them trying to convince her. I hear them trying to convince her because she's very against it. She's not gonna be with it because she's a good person. And I just hear them talking to her, trying to convince her. They never talk to me. I think they do. Sometimes they're like, he's crazy. Like, they say he's crazy, or we've got to do this, but they never say it directly to me. I think that's my protocol. Whatever this program is, my profile is that they don't speak directly to me. I hear a lot of targeted individuals where they get V2K and it tells them to do stuff. It's like, do this, we're doing this. It speaks directly to them. For me, the program or the protocol for my profile, I guess, is not speaking directly to me, being as passive as possible. I've theorized reasons why they do that for me in my personality, but I'm not really sure. Like, just like his motives or what he's doing, I'm not really sure. I don't know the whole scheme of things. Right now I'm feeling a huge pressure in the front of my head because I'm making this video. It definitely, like, when I started making this video, the pain and the pressure and the cold feeling went from my chest to my head, the front of my head. And I think a lot of things, like me forgetting the word fan, a lot of that has to do with the remote neural monitoring manipulation. They can make you forget stuff. Like if you're thinking about doing something, they can actually take that and I guess erase it with microwaves or the remote neural monitoring. This technology is really, really sophisticated. It's really, really ahead of its time. I've had the last video. I was saying how, it can be used to do incredible things, and it's in the wrong hands. They're abusing it. This guy is saying he has to kill me. That's the mission now. That he needs to neutralize me and kill me. Because the thing is, he keeps saying he wants me out of the house. But I've tried to leave many times, and he remotely hits me, even 14 hours away. Man, I look so bad. I just noticed I look so tired. I am tired. Like, I'm very tired. I'm so exhausted from this. And that's part of it. I don't notice. I think they do. They are still doing the dream manipulation, but it's not as strong. I think I've moved the plates and buffered that a little bit. But I need to. I need to buy 2 new plates. I need to put one on the Hispanic gentleman's side, just to see if they have remote capabilities, and then I need to put one on the main stalker side. I actually need 3 plates probably, because they've got powerful equipment. That's why it's like people are saying you're buying all this stuff to protect yourself, and it's crazy to spend that much money on it. But this is the deal, guys. There's equipment out there. There are defenses for us. They're super weak. They're super weak because they're being given to people, and it's without knowing the strong actual. If somebody builds up this non-lethal equipment, it can become very lethal. The frequency can be very powered up. And it can overpower a lot of these defenses, but they do work. In theory and in practice, the equipment does work. It works on EHF. It works on ELF. It works on cell phone signals, like Wi-Fi signals, like things that are shooting dangerous frequencies that can hurt the body. But the power of them, they're weak. Even these tabletop defenders, they're 50 times the power of a personal defender, and yet this guy, he has military equipment. He has stuff to boost this frequency, which if I didn't have those plates against the wall, I don't want to scare people. So I'm going to try and back up from it and say maybe, it would just hurt me. But I had 7 plates against the wall one time. 7 plates against the wall. He hadn't built up his arsenal as much as he has it built up now. My parents turned it off, and this was while I was in the behavioral facility. This is when I got thrown into the crazy the crazy place for a short amount of time. And they turned off 7 plates. They came in, they turned everything off, and then I didn't even know they had turned it off. And I started feeling like this hot pain in my prostate, which my body started getting cold. I started going into shock. And now I have 9 and 8. I have 17 plates against the wall. And I still feel his attacks. Like he's building up his stuff while I'm building up my stuff. I've been able to buffer it completely at times, like when I get enough plates, but then he'll build it up. I think if they add power to the remote station, they can increase the frequency. And I think with more EHF emitters, the high-pitched sound emitters, and more ground weapons to pump into the remote neural station, they can pump it up. They can pump up the frequency. So, I bought tons of equipment over 2 years, tons of defensive equipment. It works. I'm sitting on equipment that does buffer it. The problem is they have military strength equipment. The weapons are free, so if he has connections, he can just funnel weapons into that house. So that's a big problem, that the defenses aren't strong enough. I eventually, I played this game called Borderlands, and you get shields. You get these little shields, and this is fantasy, but it makes my mind kind of flow into what we need for this. It's a little shield. It's like an actual shield, and it shields the person. We need a tabletop defender, the power of like 2 or 3 tabletop defenders, and we need to shrink it down and find some kind of battery source to power that enough so that we could hook it to our belts or our sides, and then it would create a shield around us that's powerful enough. It's the idea of the personal defender, but we need it to be more powerful. I'm not a mechanical engineer. I have a logical mind, but if anybody out there, is into mechanical engineering, can look at these tabletop defenders. If you're being targeted, buy a tabletop defender and look at it and see what it does, see what it's made out of. I may need to contact Q-Wave, and just try and get more information to learn about exactly what they use, because it creates Solfeggio waves, scalar waves, and the Schumann resonance. That's what it's using. That's what it's pumping out. It pumps it out at 100 feet, and that's what's shielding my house. So I can't leave my house because they're right by me. They're around me. Like they're close to me. They're like close to me, and if you put it near their actual, like the point of origin of where they're shooting that frequency, it buffers the frequency. It also buffers the frequency remotely, but I don't think it buffers it as much. Because if you can get to that point of origin where the frequency is being created, where the machinery is actually creating the frequency, that tabletop defender can buffer out that interaction. It can also buffer it out, I think, if it's coming down on you from a remote point, but I think it's less efficient. I think it's less efficient at dissipating that electromagnetic frequency. Okay, guys, that's kind of what I wanted to say. I'm being hit right now in the forehead. My forehead's burning, and it feels pressure on it. They're getting a little bit of the EHF through. It seems like, about 2 or 3 days ago, they had the EHF really high. Like where I'd lay down to sleep, and I would hear a high pitch all around this side of my head, and they had it to where I'd walk anywhere in the house and I heard the EHF. That was about 2 or 3 days ago. Right now, they try and do it. I'll hear the frequency, but then it'll buffer out. So somehow I must have moved the plates to affect that, and they can't get that going again. But definitely the ELF is hitting me slightly. It's hitting me slightly. I moved the plate to the back of his house, so I might move another one to the back of his house and see how that works. The problem is he's moving stuff. I can hear him, like he doesn't care. Like he knows that I know, and he'll slam stuff down on one side of his house. He's acting like he'll slam stuff down, and he's like, I'm getting this guy out of here. So he's acting like he has total authority, to do this to me, to microwave me while asleep, to microwave me, to watch me in private situations. He's pretending like he has this authority to do this and get me out of there. And so he doesn't have authority. It's non-sanctioned. He's hiding it in his house. He's hiding it in his house so that people don't know, because they would stop him. And yet there are people involved in this covertly, and they are acting like, they are pretending like they have authority. And he's angry. He's like, I'm going to get this guy out of his house. And yet I live in a private home. I live in a private home that has nothing to do with him. But he has surveillance equipment that he's looking into my private life. He's looking at me while I'm naked, and then he's shooting stuff at me, microwaves, even while I sleep. They're yelling stuff like he's fucking crazy and stuff like that while I sleep. And I don't notice it when I'm asleep, but when I wake up, and I still have my eyes closed, I will still hear it from the V2K. that they've pumped up. They've got the V2K pumped up so that I hear him, his wife. I hear the lady from next door who floated over there. She got over into that house and got involved in this. And then there's a guy with the black car who came from another state, to help out, to put his weapons and his knowledge in it. I think he had done it before because when he came, it started to be more effective. They started to do things, and he's teaching Lynn, how to do this more effectively. Lynn is like on this I'm being trained thing. He's acting like he's being trained and he's learning about this and it's a job and it's a military job. When it's killing Americans, it's terrorism. It's terrorism. So these people are double-minded. They hide in their houses. They hide it from my parents so that my parents don't know I'm murdered. They hide it from everybody so that people think you're crazy and they can entrap you and lie to police. Like, he will actually lie to a policeman that comes over and say that I'm crazy. It hasn't happened because I haven't called the police. But if I called the police and I said, this guy's attacking me, he's attacking me with microwaves and directed energy weapons or something, the police would go talk to him and he would lie to their face. He'd be like, I'm not doing that. I don't know what he's talking about. That guy's crazy. So on the one mind, he's lying to policemen. He's doing it secretly. My parents don't know I'm being murdered. People think I'm crazy as he's shooting microwaves to actually cook my body in my sleep. On the other mind, he's helping his country. He's protecting national security. He's doing a covert military mission that he thinks is sanctioned. So it's double-minded. It's double-minded. He knows it's wrong because of his actions, and yet on the other mind, he thinks that he has the complete authority to secretly murder me in my house and get me out of there like I'm vermin, like I'm not even a human. This is dangerous stuff, guys. Anybody who's not a target individual, trust me, this stuff is happening. It's happening. Don't deny it. Research it. Don't deny it. Denying this is dangerous to every American and every human being on the planet. Don't deny it. Go research it. Research organized gang stalking. Research target individuals. Research it. Listen to the testimonies. They're all the same. It's not a time to deny this stuff. We have to act quickly. We have to do activism. We have to peacefully work on this and trudge through it. Peacefully survive. Peacefully defend. Peacefully do activism. Peacefully make videos. Peacefully do something every day about this. This is growing under the surface of our country. That's what they're doing. They're covertly growing it. And what's going to happen is if they succeed and it builds up, you see the truck. You see that truck? Two men and 2 men in a truck. That's one. You saw it right behind me. That's one of the moving trucks I see everywhere that caravans me. These companies get grants. I learned this from my target individual friend Jeff, and go and research this. And I'm going to research it a lot more. But these corporations, moving companies, people who drive around all day mostly, they're mostly incorporated into this program, and they get grants for I guess they would call it patrolling. We would call it vehicular harassment. Target individuals call it vehicular harassment. These people think of it as patrolling. So basically, I've been labeled. Like, I think that target individuals actually have like a poster on them. They're put on a list. I've been labeled as a dangerous person to society that needs to be watched. That needs to be watched and caravan and microwaved. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because if you had somebody that was dangerous, you just tell the police and they would arrest them. So this stuff is a lie, stacked on lies, it's a mountain of just lies and bullshit. What's going to happen, though, if we don't stop this, if Americans don't stop this, is this underground, like, covert, microwaving of Americans, harassing them, putting them on lists and stuff. It's going to grow, and then it's going to grow to a point where so many people get involved unknowingly, that it's going to be like good Americans aren't going to be even capable of stopping, because it's going to grow. So people are just going to have to accept it. Like, oh, this has grown so big, we can't even fight it, it's so big. So now's the time to do it. If we don't do it now, it'll grow so that people don't even have the capability, to fight it and stop it. They'll be like, it's just incorporated in society. Here it is. That's dangerous. I pray and have faith that we aren't at that point yet. Some people probably would think we're at that point. So many people are involved that this stuff, people aren't, we're not even going to be able to quash it. It's just going to become this thing that is in our society that nobody can really do anything about. I don't think that. I have faith that we can stop this stuff. It's so dangerous. To me, it's satanic. They're shooting microwaves in my chest and my head while I sleep. Like, he has a radar system, and basically he gets an image of me, and then they hit certain parts of my body. So it's to me, cooking people's bodies in groups, no matter what technology you're doing with. You see all the movement. It's another truck. It's another 2 men in a truck. So you see the patrolling and the harassment, especially at this racetrack. They don't hurt me or anything. They just drive their cars around. The mistake. Oh, another one. Yeah, you see it. You see it right behind me. The problem with my profile and the problem with this whole thing. You see another one. That's 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then there was 2 here. No, 5. Look, they're all of them. They're all coming to get gas at the same time. But the deal is that it's so fucked up. Look, you see them all, and these people don't know what they're doing. They think that they're just helping society or helping to quash a dangerous person. The problem that they have with me, though, I don't care about this, like the cars and stuff like that. I think it's funny. They've actually started getting people with Toyota Corollas, red Toyota Corollas, because that's what I drive, and they've actually got them involved in the caravanning. I like people with Toyota Corollas. I don't care about it. Like, what he's doing is he's microwaving me, and then he's reporting to a source that I'm crazy and paranoid, and that this caravanning and stuff will bother me, that it will bother me and break me. That's the problem with this, is it's not honest. He's doing stuff and hurting me, and then he's reporting lies. So it's because it's not truthful, it's not going to help. It's not going to help put bad people away in jail. It'll take good people, make them look crazy and trap them and maybe get them in jail or mental institutions. They always say that, like, let's put him away. And I think they get more money if they put you away. And if they put you away, they'll still attack you with microwaves. The problem that I'm seeing here is that they've built up in 3 houses. I'm not sure about the house right across from me, but I know that they're involved. They send out a dog, a German Shepherd, and it barks when I go outside, just barks all the time. They train these dogs, and they'll turn on a certain sound where it'll bark or whatever. I'm not sure how they do that, but the problem is that I'm not moving out of that house, because if I do, they've got so many weapons built up that they have, like, probably two or 3 chunks of weapons that could hurt a targeted individual or an innocent person. They've built it up around me. So if I leave and Lynn's just hit me remotely, like if I go to another state, Lynn will hit me remotely, and I think that once he kind of hands it off to that state, there will be different people who come around me physically, and there will be maybe a different person remotely hitting me, so that he'll either be able to, because my mom would sell that house if I left, so he would be able to attack whoever comes to that house, or he would, move and maybe started on another target, and he would pick another innocent person and do the same thing that he's done with me to them. So that's the big problem for me. And the big problem is that this whole thing is a big problem, but that's a huge problem, is they built it up, and if I left, I think he would remotely hit me for a while, as long as he had to, as long as he could, until he could get somebody in that state, or if I moved to another country, get somebody in that country to take over the remote harassment capabilities. If I did move somewhere, I would have to move somewhere where it wasn't around anybody, where I had tons of room on each side so that nobody could move in, because that would definitely happen. This thing involves a lot of money, so people do get involved. Alright guys, I just kind of wanted to report on what's happening to me. It's a vicious thing. He pretends to have, this authority, and on the other hand, he hides it. So it's a double think. It's double think. If you want to read 1984, everybody who's involved in this targeting, I think, needs to read 1984 really badly. Get the metaphor there, because Big Brother is watching us. This is happening. This stuff is happening. It's happened many times before. The problem is that it hasn't happened with this kind of technology. This technology is so advanced and so sophisticated. It could do great things for the medical field. For neurology, it could change everything for people, like in a good way. It's in the hands of people who are using it for military means. They're actually using it to be thought police, basically. To be thought police, to take innocent people, and because people don't know enough, they don't know enough about the human brain. They don't know enough about how people think, so these people are using that ignorance to use this technology and trick people to be like, oh, this person's crazy or whatever. And even though people may see something, and they may be like, well, that's the way I think or whatever, because they use the microwaves, remote neural monitoring. They can see images, what you're putting through your visual cortex. They can see through your eyes, actually. So the people that get involved, who are very hypocritical, even though they may think the same way as what they're seeing, or understand that's the same, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's crazy, because they don't want to. Maybe they think that they're crazy because they think like that. This stuff is so dangerous. The way it's being used is so abusive that it's going to create de-evolution. It's going to create fear, and this equipment's going to be used to out innocent people, to make them look bad. And the problem is, it could do great things for human beings, and it's being used for such negative purposes that it will bring us backwards. They'll use this advanced technology to bring us backwards, and maybe advance in war and killing people, and that's it. We have to fight it. If at the least, make a journal. If you're a targeted individual, write your experiences down. They're going to be important in the future, because we are going to stop this. I have total faith. I believe in a loving God above. I believe He put me in this situation for a reason. When I was 10 years old, I had Crohn's disease. I'll end it with this. When I was 10 years old, I got Crohn's disease, and my stomach hurt so bad, and I couldn't hold any food. Food would actually pass through me, and I wasn't absorbing it. I couldn't even stand up. I was in so much pain. That to me at 10 years old was like I feel now. At 34 years old, I'm in this program where people have viciously lied about me. They're hurting my family. They're microwaving me. I feel like it's impossible. That's how I felt when I was 10 years old and had Crohn's. I felt like it was impossible. Not only did I defeat that by my mom helping me, by intelligent moves, by doing the right thing. Not only did I defeat that, it made me better. It made me better as a human being. We need to resist this. Good human beings need to resist this. It will make us stronger. We have to fight it. It is something that will pass. This too will pass. I feel the same way as when I was 10. I'm 34, so it's a different thing. It's a harder thing. But since I'm older and I've been through stuff, it's like that. Metaphorically, it's like when I was 10 years old and I couldn't keep food in and my stomach hurt so bad and I felt like it was the end of the world and it would always be like that. That's how I feel. My human mind, as I'm climbing to my enclosure, which I'm going to have to make better because it's aluminum and it looks really crazy. I'm going to try and make it something that's more sleek, that looks sophisticated and doesn't look crazy. I'll have to do that because I have to have it. I have to have some kind of Faraday cage, some kind of blockage when I sleep, because I don't know the damage that they're doing to me when I sleep. I think it's a lot. I think he pumps it up a lot more than when I'm awake because he doesn't want me to know, how much. Because then I'd really desperately go get a plate instead of kind of holding it off, kind of trying to get there just and being patient. I guess that's all I want to say, guys. The enclosure that I'm in now, I would metaphorically say it is like the first Iron Man armor where it's like that big clunky gray metal thing, and then he makes a new prototype. He keeps making new armors. He keeps evolving. So I'm staying in that enclosure, and it's basically the first clunky, gray, big thing that he improves on a million times. So that's what we have to do. You have to make a prototype. You got to analyze stuff. You got to experiment with defensive stuff. Try. I mean, it is money. We don't have it. They have infinite amounts. This is a program where it is governmental funding. It is funding from corporations and grants. It's grants from actually the government, and it's infinite money because the government can just make money and do stuff like this. We don't have any money because we're being tortured. We have a hard time holding jobs. We need to try. You just got to try. You got to crawl. You got to crawl and stumble through it and try and get some money to get a personal defender, or a plug. These Altera whole house plugs is what I would really recommend for your house. For your house to begin building a shield using your house. Your house can become a shield. The actual wiring in your walls will actually be a shield to this electromagnetic energy. So I would recommend, if you're in your house a lot, to start out with Altera whole house plugs. If you're going around somewhere, and you're not in your house a lot, I would recommend getting personal defenders. I went to go pay my ticket at the municipal courthouse, and I couldn't take my personal defenders in because you can't take electronic equipment in. So I had to put all 5 of them in a little locker and lock them in a little locker, and then I had to go into the municipal court. About 30 minutes after I did that, I started feeling so much pain against the side of my head, and I realized, because sometimes I wear these personal defenders, and I question, I'm like, do these even work? Are these even working? But then I take them off, and I wait for, 30 minutes to an hour, and I'm like, yes, they work. Yes, they work. So you got to experiment with just your routines in life and these defensive things. This is what I use, and people may use different stuff. So research stuff. Different stuff can work. I use Altera whole house plugs. I've put them basically in every plug in my house that I can. I put 2 at the start, and that worked at buffering him out. It buffered him out completely, but then he built up the frequency. He got more weaponry. So he's doing that. He's doing this militarily, with military, I guess. What would you call it? Military discipline. So when I build a defense, he's going to get more weaponry. He's going to build up that frequency. He's ex-army, so he's waging a war against me, against a sleeping guy, against somebody sleeping in their bed. It's really weird. It's really weird and unbelievable. I understand that.
Target individuals will immediately understand what I'm talking about. Other people will be like, dude, you need to get on some meds. I understand that. I don't care. I don't care. We have to fight this. It is serious. It's like serious fascism. It threatens our nation. Threatens our nation completely. It threatens humanity. And I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there because I'm a human being. I see a big picture here. And we either decide to live in truth, and goodness, doing the right thing, helping people, protecting people, or we decide that you can say whatever you want, and as long as you tell a good enough story or kill the person off, that it's the truth. So we can decide to really live as I walk and try and believe in Christ. No, not try and believe in Christ. I try to do, what He has taught. I'm a Christian. Those are my beliefs. So to me, there is no choice. We have to live in truth. We have to help people. This whole notion of false flagging somebody, using a person and feeding off of them, and if you tell a good enough story, it's just as good as the truth. To me, is folly. It's folly. It will hurt the human race, and it'll hurt America definitely. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I'm going to get out of this racetrack because the longer I stay here, the more perps start arriving. It's usually these big trucks, and there's a Hummer, cars that are real nice. They're real pristine, and you can tell that people really care about their cars, and then you see the one light on them. So it's like they've taken care of their cars so well, but they just didn't fix that one light. Total bullshit. But all right, guys, it's very important that we fight this. We fight it peacefully and intelligently. I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna quit no matter what. I'm gonna get information out. I'm gonna turn because I believe in God. I believe that even this man's evil actions, even this buildup of this program, these microwaves, God is going to take this, and He's already working. He's already working to make it for the good of good people. He's already doing that. He's already taken evil actions and good actions, and He's moving it towards where it'll be good for our country, for humanity. So you got to try and turn this program around on these people. Tell the truth. Be a good person. Show these perps that you're not crazy. Show that the lie is not true. Turn it on this program. I've given these people, if I talk to them in my house at a regular tone of voice, and I'm like, I'm not going to quit. You're a murderer. What you're doing is really wrong. They even use that stuff against me. He'll twist it and be like, this guy's crazy. He's calling me a murderer while he's murdering me. Because it doesn't exist in him while it does exist. He's a double thinker. You need to read 1984. It's believing in something at the same time as knowing it's wrong so that you can enforce that belief. So to enforce this belief in this program, he has to understand that it's wrong and that people won't accept it, because then he has to hide it. He has to hide it and do that. But in his double mind on the other side, he's like, I have to do this for the good of the country. This is right. This is good. This is, for to make the military better, or to make whatever he's working for better. So he's double-minded. He knows that it's wrong, and he has to know it's wrong to make it work, to do the things that make it capable of moving forward, to hide it from neighbors, to lie about me. So he's a double thinker. These people are double thinkers. They're such big liars that they're double thinkers, that they have two minds of everything. Two-faced. Alright, guys, I'm going to end it on that negative note. No, let me end it on a positive note. There is a loving God. There is a force in the universe that wants human beings to prosper, to become better. This is a fact. I don't only have faith, I've seen it. I've seen it in the world. I've seen it in my life. I've seen it. So I have a hardcore is a good word. I have a hardcore belief, and not just a belief, but a knowing that there's good in the world and it's worth fighting for. There's a good force that will help us do this. Please believe. Please believe, targeted individuals, that this is going to end. Please don't go into despair. Don't go into hopelessness. You can do this. You can do this peacefully. You can get up. You can do this. You can do this. Freedom is important. Freedom is important. We have to tell people about this. We have to be strong and aggressive, but peaceful and intelligent. We can do this. We can do this. You can do this. You can do this. If you're laying in your bed and it feels hopeless, it's not hopeless. There's equipment that buffers this stuff out. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Okay, I'm going to end it on that. I want to apologize. Like, I'm looking into the camera. My eyes are very puffy. I do look very tired, and I guess some people could maybe construe it as crazy looking. But this is from actual microwaves hitting my body, from continual torture. It's not any kind of mental illness or anything. For non-target individuals, I want to add that in. But excuse the puffiness in the eyes. Excuse the forgetting of the word fan, because I excuse myself for that. I also don't know how I forgot the word fan, because it's a very easy word. It's a fan. All right, guys, I love you. Just remember, you can do this. Don't give up. Don't give in to these people. They're not worth it. That's what I also want to say. I want to end it on that. I think a lot of people think you need to study people like this. You need to study evil to understand it, or study this deception to understand it. You need to understand these people to defeat them. I don't think they're worth it. I think they're going to throw out as much as you need to know. They're going to throw it right in front of your face. The kind of evil that you're up against, the kind of ignorance that you're up against, it's going to be thrown in your face, and you don't need to go any deeper. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. They're not worth it. They're not worth it. We need to get around them. We need to get around them instead of being a crashing wave, crashing into them, yelling at them, doing anything violent. That's a crashing wave. You'll split yourself apart because it's a huge wall. It's a huge brick wall. So don't crash against it like a wave. Flow around it. Flow around it. We need to be like water flowing around this and getting to the other side. And once we get to that other side, flowing around it, the brick wall will be behind us. We won't have to shatter it. We won't have to break it. It'll be behind us. So keep that in mind. Flow around it. Flow around it. Don't crash into it like a breaking wave. It'll break you. It'll break you. This is a huge brick wall, and it's very strong. We need to flow around it, and once we get past it, it'll be behind us. We won't have to break it. Please, please don't give up. You can do this. You can do this. I'm doing it. Like, this guy is hurting me, but I'm gonna fight him. I'm gonna get more plates. I'm gonna do what I have to do, even though my parents may be like, "You're getting all these plates. You said the last one, would be the end." They don't understand that this guy is using, military strength. He's building it up to killing strength. And I don't know if this happens in every situation. I think it's due to me building up defenses that he's gotten so much weaponry. So on one hand, I have to say, I don't know. It's like, if you don't get defensive equipment, I don't think they get more. I think they kind of keep what they have and just kind of control you. But with defensive equipment, they may build it up, but you have more control over it. You're fighting it. We're learning how to defend it. So we need to do that. It's a double-edged sword, like all this stuff is. Just remember, don't be a crashing wave. It's a big, hard wall. And if you're one person, you're going to break. You're going to break against it. So be flowing water. Go around it. We all need to go around. We need to be intelligent and peaceful and flow around it. Go around these people. Defend yourself. Live your life. Be good. Tell other people about it. Go to good people. Don't worry about these perps and attackers. They're not worth it. They're not worth it. They don't need to be in your life. So you don't need to be disappointed that these people are against you. They're not worth it anyway. Alright, guys, you can do this. I know it because I'm experiencing it. that I'm fighting this. I have control over this. I have control over the frequencies that they're shooting in my house. It's been experimented with. I know it. People like my parents may hear me say something like, "Well, I moved the plate and the signal quit." It's happened millions of times. Like my parents turned off those plates, and I experienced 20 times more of the pain. I turned off a light, which turned off all the plugs in that whole side of the house, and the remote pain was so bad in my chest, it wouldn't stop. And then I turned it back on, and then I was able to deal with the little amounts of pain they're shooting at me, the little amounts of electromagnetic energy, directed energy weapons that they are pointing and targeting at me on a ground level and a remote level. All right, guys, I'm going to end it. I have a tendency to keep going, to keep trailing off. I apologize for that. I'll work on that, but I always want to say more. It's important to talk about this, and I will say more in the future. Remember, guys, don't be a crashing wave against this. It is a strong. It's very powerful because of the technology they're using. They're able to get away with a lot because of this technology being so advanced. Be flowing water. We'll get around it. The wall will be behind us. It'll be behind us. We won't need to break it. It'll break on its own. Once we're past it, there will be no need for that wall, and it'll crumble. I'm going to end on that, guys. You can do this. Whatever situation you're in, however bad it is, you can do this. There's stuff to defend yourself. Start researching. Start going to the conference calls. TalkShoe.com, FCHS. I got it right this time. FCHS. Research them. They have conference calls. They have information they put out. Please go to them. These conference calls are lifesavers. Getting together is lifesavers. We need to get together, even though we're scattered across the country and the world. We need to start grouping up, and we need to start pulling in people who aren't targeted individuals. We need to start grabbing them by the hand and asking for help and showing them what's going on. Not letting them go over to the other side against us, thinking we're crazy. We need to grab them by the hand and make them a part of our fight. We can do this. You can do this. All right, guys, I love y'all. God is there. He's there in every situation. Just be spiritual. If you're not a Christian, that's okay. Find spirituality. Find a strength in you. Find that loving force in the universe. Please don't give up. You can do this. All right, I love you guys. God loves us all. God loves us all. We have to go through pain sometimes, but He loves us. All right, guys, I love y'all, and stay strong. I'll see you on the next one.